But so I will mention, instead, I'll tell another story of the time that I have spent in Hebron, of which Melka calls a normal life. And I think there is nothing at all that is normal about Hebron. And most of the things that go on in Hebron are not normal. But the last time I was there, I believe it was 2017. It was the summer, and I was there when settlers, and as Malka said, her husband is the spokesperson for the settler community of Hebron. So I do hold him in particular, and her by association, complicit directly in this, when settlers invaded and took over a Palestinian home. Now, it was a three-story, it was a home right off of Shahada Street. I can't recall the name of the street, but right in the middle of historic Old Hebron. It was a three-story apartment building, and Palestinians were living there in the building when Israeli settlers invaded the building. It was a horrific and violent experience for the Palestinians that I witnessed with my own eyes. Them being dragged down the steps of their own house, and then basically locked inside as it was occupied by these settlers. Now, then the Israeli military comes in to protect the settlers, not to protect the family with children living in the home, not to protect them from violence, but to protect the settlers in their quest to take this home. And Malka talks about caring about humanitarian, having humanitarian concerns for people. Well, this was the military did not come in any sort of humanitarian effort, but instead they came in and secured the perimeter so that the settlers could remain there. And the I believe it was the Israeli municipality brought in water, a water system for the settlers, and children were brought in, behaving incredibly violently, encouraged by their parents. I had, and I imagine Malka knows her, Anat Cohen, who's a notorious Hebron settler. She owns a cafe on Shahada Street. Physically assaulted me, and this property continued being occupied by the settlers for an ongoing basis. Now, if Malka is going to talk about concern for the Palestinians, the first thing that was necessary to be done there was to expel the thieves from coming in and taking this home, and to protect the family, to protect their physical safety. But that's not what the situation there is. And again, I take such issue with the word normal, because there is nothing normal about a military occupation. There is nothing normal about over 20 checkpoints within a city where you have to give often you have to give a number that you've been assigned in order to enter and walk to your home, where you have to get special permission to have family come and visit, where children have to go through on a regular basis in a terrifying experience. But what we have going on here is Israel has created for themselves a situation of one state. It is, in fact, now one state from the river to the sea, where Israel controls all of the borders, including the siege around Gaza. So while the Palestinian Authority plays a role in the West Bank, and Malka is correct, I do take many issues with the Palestinian Authority and consider it a corrupt and repressive government. The Palestinian Authority has no control even of their own borders. Myself, who have been expelled by Israel, I can't travel in to visit my Palestinian friends. I can't travel in through Jordan because Israel controls that border. So Israel is the authority for all of these areas. Israel enters at will. Can you imagine here in the United States if another country came in and entered our country at will to arrest people, to raid houses, etc.? So Israel is the single state actor here. They are the controlling body. What we have here is a system from the river to the sea where one group is privileged over another, where one group has a set of rights that the other group does not have. We have two separate laws for two groups of people. And I don't know about Malka, but that's a violation of my Jewish values.